Okay, attempt number 2. A little bit of Marine Layer Podcast Sunday Night Live. Do you like Sunday Night Live? Should we coin that?
Are we allowed to coin that? There's got to be somebody else that has that.
Maybe. I don't know. Have you seen it? I've never seen that before.
I guess not. Well, listen, if we can coin it seems like a pretty easy thing to coin. So sign me right up. But
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We got to alternate turns doing the stand-up at the beginning.
Oof. Yeah.
No pressure.
No.
How many celebrities do you think we could get on here? So let's start like our first celebrity, if we can get him to, and he's not on a plane. Let's get Saucedo to do one. I think Saucedo would be a good one.
Just right on a live stream. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're live on both the platforms we want here.
Yeah, we are. Look at that. I just got the notification about it saying we're live. So.
How do we look on Instagram? Could you see us on Instagram?
No.
We look a little cut off.
Yeah, the problem is I think since we're like square, on River. So anybody listening, we're doing this on Riverside, which is where we record our podcast to begin with. The problem is maybe it doesn't translate to Instagram.
Our shoulders look really good. I will tell you that. It looks really good.
Yeah. So we're fine on YouTube. The problem is Instagram Live is
people on Instagram. If you could tilt your phone horizontally, tell us if that fixes anything, because it doesn't do it on my computer. So if you can do that, like tilt your phone horizontally and tell us if it works. We're working through this just like you guys are. So if that works, please let us know, because I can't do that on my computer. My computer will not tilt the video horizontally. It does look funny though.
I don't know. Does Instagram even let you?
Do they? Here. I guess we'll find out. Again, this is the first time for everything.
This is very much a first time for it. What happens if we like move a little bit? I don't know.
What if I go like, you can like move into the frame a little bit. Yeah, I know. Now you're in
there. Here we go.
Wow.
Well, I'm on there now. I just have to tilt to the right. You have to see us working.
How about you be our correspondent in there? You stick your face on the Instagram. Can you guys in the Instagram chat, please let us know. Please let us know what we're doing. Nope, doesn't work. Nope. Okay, wow. All right, well,
hang on. Give yourself a sec. Okay, slide the other way, TJ.
Am I going this way?
Yeah. Like
this is fun. I like this.
Can you slide your chair over to the left? We'll be on there at least a little bit more.
I like this.
Yeah, okay. Now you're on there a little bit. Like
this works. You know what? Let's run with this.
Okay. So
we can get this going.
Yeah. We've makeshifted for the time being, and it's nice. There's people in the live now. So, hi guys. This is our first attempt,
as you can tell,
at a live stream. And again, and now that people have joined, we should talk about like the reason we wanted to start doing this is kind of like we said in our intro video about it, that we just wanted to find more ways to connect with everybody. And if people have questions they want to fire away at us, they're more than welcome. It can be baseball, it can be Mariners, it can be pretty much anything you want. So we figured, I don't know, for half hour at a time or so, if people are on long enough, maybe a little bit longer every Sunday, we could hop on here, answer questions, especially when the season starts. I'm sure people will have things on their minds that they want to fire off. Like last year, we did some voicemail stuff on the podcast, and that was good. The problem is that like these podcasts start to get long. So we figured, well, maybe we can answer some people's questions on here for, however long people want to send questions. So people in the Instagram comments and the YouTube comments that are watching, fire away.
Go give Instagram a peek, by the way, Lyle. I think it might have fixed itself. I think it might have auto-corrected. Looks like there's a lot of extra space there now. We're a lot smaller, but it looks a lot better on mine.
All right. Well, for the time being, stay where you got it. I think you looked better when you were leaned a little bit over.
No, I mean, I think it might not be cropped anymore.
I don't know. Huh. I'm gonna stay here.
I can stay right. I'll stay right here. You know what? This is fine. We're vibing. Anyways, off of what Lyle said, want to have this opportunity to do more live interaction. I feel like unless we're both at the ballpark, there is not as much live interaction. We've tried to do a little bit more with mailbags, and Lyle mentioned the voicemails as well. But Sunday nights are a great opportunity. The opening day is a little less than 2 weeks away. There's now finally going to be Sundays. And we know since ESPN doesn't put the Mariners on Sunday Night Baseball, we'll have every single Sunday night free during the season. So what better opportunity than to come on here and to answer some live questions. So it's good.
Let's start with that before we get into some of the actual comments getting put on Instagram and YouTube. How in 2024, with the team the Mariners have, did they not get one freaking Sunday night baseball game, dude? Not one.
You know the answer to that.
But come on, like there's other teams that are not in LA and New York markets getting games, and the Mariners have a sick rotation, a superstar center fielder, like a young, exciting team, a team that's going to compete. The Giants are on Sunday Night Baseball all the time. You cannot look me in the eye and say the Giants are more exciting right now than the Mariners.
They probably draw more TV eyes, unfortunately.
Well, they should have one game.
And in the end, that's apparently all that matters. The Mariners, I feel like, would be a very fun team to watch. They should be. Who doesn't want to watch this team now? I mean, look at all these people who are now in here excited to watch the Mariners this season. So instead, they're listening to our doofuses instead of getting to watch the Mariners on a Sunday night. So ultimate excitement.
Exactly.
But, it's a travesty, but I can't say we're shocked. Lyle, you should get more excited for Monday Night Baseball on ESPN or Wednesday Night Baseball. That's a real treat.
Do people watch those?
I think you would if the M's were on.
I mean, I would, but like, would people nationally watch those?
Probably. Some people are bored. Some people don't have lives.
Well, we shouldn't be preaching that kind of stuff because we're supposed to be helping grow the game. So yes, watch Wednesday Night Baseball.
That's true. Yes, watch. Please make the Mariners ratings sky high on ESPN. So
yeah, okay. I think most of the questions we're getting, at least so far, are on Instagram. So if we want to start to scroll through some of these and answer some of them, okay. Well, this is an easy one. Somebody sends in a question of Julio MVP season ?
Yeah.
So this is let's give him a shout out. This is from Matthew McNichol. So shout out to him. I don't see why not, right? We've talked about this on a couple podcasts. Are we going to lock it in? No. Like Aaron Judge exists, Corey Seager exists. There's other really good players in the American League, but I feel like Julio, for where his expectations are set, when he says he was frustrated and pissed off after a down year where he finished 4th in MVP voting, I don't see why he can't do it. Like, look at what 1 month of offense and really good defense essentially did for him last year. He still put up a 6 WAR season. If he does it for 6 months straight in a full 162, I think we're talking about a guy that could absolutely be hoisting a trophy at the end of the year.
The guys who have dominated the American League MVP race for the last 10 years, they both played in Anaheim and both have essentially cleared themselves out of his way, like easily out of his way. Mike Trout is probably past his MVP stage and Shohei Ohtani's in the NL. It's perfect. His competition is a healthy Aaron Judge right now, for the most part. That's his healthy competition. You might get a great season from J-Ram, but Julio's got all the upside needed to be the slam dunk favorite in the American League. Absolute slam dunk.
Yeah. Again, I'd probably still throw Corey Seager in there, but Judge, I'd put it 1.
Point, yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Another question.
I have a comment here for you, dog. Presented by Starbucks. This is not a sponsored show, by the way. Appreciate that. If you guys want to contact Starbucks and let us know.
No. Absolutely not. Oh. You know how they say everybody has a price and everybody can be bought out? I think that's true. Except when it comes to me and Starbucks. No, I will be taking no endorsements from that company. Not one.
What about a $4 billion basketball franchise? Is that enough?
Do I have to pay for it?
You don't. They do.
Oh, then great.
They're buying you. They're buying your happiness.
Well, if they do that, I'll reconsider. How about that?
Oh, okay. I like that. Man, we got a lot of stuff coming in here. Lyle, you're the GOAT. Undisputed. Funny. It's funny you mentioned that. I think that might be Lyle's favorite TV show.
Undisputed?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought they were saying undisputed like it's hands down. Like, I don't think they were referencing the show, were they?
Well, I was just tying that in. I thought it was all a nice connection.
Well, a certain undisputed host had a tweet that consisted of 4 words go viral this weekend or this week. So
and a great comma. An all-time comma. Speaking of white whale guests, it would have absolutely nothing to do with the Mariners, but you and I would not turn down an opportunity to have Skip Bayless on the pod. So if anyone has a connection, again, it would not be baseball related, but we would certainly say yes in a heartbeat. And we're not letting him leave in under an hour. What story would you want to hear the most? You would want to hear how he sets up throwing his Cowboy jerseys in the trash can? I think that's a good one. How they stage that.
How he gets up at like 2:30 in the morning to start working out so he can, take down Shannon Sharp live on the air, even though he's not on the show anymore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Enough Skip Bayless. Favorite new player to watch at spring training? So these don't feel new anymore since we watched them so much, to be honest. But I mean, Samad Taylor's been a lot of fun. He's really contributed and really seems like he's going towards maybe not an opening day roster spot, but eventually he's going to have a spot on the 26-man roster and he's going to get a chance to make an impact. But how about our guy Dom? He keeps cranking dingers. Like, isn't that fun? Yeah. Isn't that fun? I mean, we talked about it on last episode. The Mariners had the opportunity in the offseason, or last year, actually, once they traded for Dom. They had two young left-handed outfielders that they had to make a decision between. And they chose Dom. And Dom has rewarded them to what looks like a really good spring, a rebuilt stance. He's bulkier. I would imagine his defense will probably be a little bit better in the outfield this season as well, and really giving them everything they could want. And Dom Canzone gives 70% of what he gave at AAA last year at the big league level. We're talking a pretty good bat right there.
Yeah, and how about the fact he's been hitting lefties and righties in spring training? Because there was, somebody's going to platoon in this outfield, right? With Mitch Haniger, it's either going to be Dom or it's going to be Luke Raley. We'll see how the rest of the spring plays out. We'll see how the regular season starts to play out when they start playing in games that matter. But right now, man, like Dom Canzone is warranting everyday playing time right now with the way he swung it in the spring. And again, we'll see what it looks like when the season starts. But everybody's talked about, that's who's going to break out this year, Canzone. I don't see why that's anything but true right now.
Yeah, it should be. Let's see what else we got here.
And while you're looking, I will piggyback off of what you said, that you kind of stole my Samad Taylor answer. That's what I was going to say. Not only was he super cool when we talked to him, but yeah, the fact that he's stealing bases, he's really good about getting the extra bag. He can hit, he can play a bunch of different positions. I don't know if there's room for him to crack the opening day roster. Here's how I look at it, right? They're going to have 13 position players, and the 4 bench spots are going to be the 4th outfielder, Sebi Zavala, because you have to have a backup catcher, Demo, and then after Demo, you have the other side of the third base platoon. So those are kind of your 4 bench bats. If you want to call Rojas the guy who's going to play a little bit more, then your 4 bench bats would be, let's say, Raley, Urias, Sebi Zavala, and Demo. So I don't know if Samad Taylor starts on the opening day roster. That being said, the opening day roster is not going to be the roster that finishes the season. I would be very, very surprised if Samad Taylor not only doesn't get a chance this year, but doesn't make some impact when he does, because he feels like a guy who, give it a couple weeks into the year, he's going to get called up and he may stick around a while.
Let's see. Question on YouTube from Terrell Rice. Fellas, is this your first live? Yes, it is. Welcome in. Thank you. If you probably can't tell on YouTube, it looks very good. So shout out to YouTube for the nice horizontal video. But yes, it is our first live. So speaking of Samad Taylor, guy in a similar role, Ryan Bliss is having a good spring as well. Question here is, if Bliss keeps tearing it up, I'm trying to refine this question here so I can give credit to who asked it. But the question of, is if Bliss keeps on rolling, how are the M's going to make some room for him on the roster? It's probably like those two are going to be fighting for opportunities. They fill a very similar role on what the Mariners could ask for. And I would say a lot depends on the third base platoon and the performance there. If the Mariners get performance from all their infielders, it's going to be really hard to get those guys some playing time. But injuries do always happen. It's going to be really hard for the M's to make it through 26 with the same 26 guys all season. So there will be spurts where those guys will play.
Although, I mean, Samad Taylor plays the outfield too, so he's more versatile than Bliss is. You can move Bliss around the infield a little bit, but Taylor has more. I would guess Taylor gets up before Bliss, not only because he's much closer to big league ready, but he also can do a little bit more. Like, if you're going to call up Ryan Bliss, that means something on the infield specifically needs either reinforcement or injury replacement. So that would be for Ryan Bliss. And Bliss is also probably going to spend a little bit of time in Tacoma this year and get his feet under him a little bit more because he didn't play that many games in AAA last year. But if he hits in AAA, similar to Samad Taylor, yes, he will very, very much be knocking on the door for a call up come May, June, July, whenever it may be. But if I had to pick between the two, I would guess we would see Taylor first.
So another question coming in here from Travi Lems. What jersey should I get? Munoz, JP, Cal, or Brash? Matt Brash, because he's nasty. And you can claim that you throw 100 miles an hour.
Whatever jersey you buy the old ones, Travi. Do not buy these new jerseys. Like all good options for players you want. Don't buy these new jerseys. I'll tell you that. But you probably don't need to hear that from me. Okay. If I was going to pick a player, it was Munoz, Brash, and say the third one again. JP, right?
Yeah, JP. Okay. I think there's one more.
I think it was those three.
I think it was four. Yeah. Munoz, JP, Cal, or Brash.
Oh, or Cal. Cal's always a good one. The only thing I would say is obviously a lot of people have Cal Raleigh jerseys. So if you want to be a little bit unique, yeah, somebody like Munoz or Brash, for as good as they are, I don't think a ton of people have those jerseys. Like for as dominant as Matt Brash is, I feel like I don't walk around T-Mobile Park and see a lot of people with Matt Brash jerseys. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I don't see them that often because unless you're an elite reliever, like a lot of people have Edwin Diaz jerseys in Queens, or I'm sure people have Felix Bautista jerseys in Baltimore, but you don't see people get reliever jerseys that much. So yeah, people have Mariano jerseys, of course. Yeah, go get a Matt Brash jersey. That'd be sick.
Reliever jerseys are the most likely jerseys to end up at Coachella for the most part. Wow. Though not Matt Brash's. Matt Brash is hopefully more of a long-term stable. I'm glad that joke landed. I was worried that it might be a little bit too niche.
You haven't been to Coachella though?
No, I haven't, but I know obscure like antique jerseys from guys who played like 10 games one year end up at Coachella, and you're like, oh shit, dude. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I don't know if we swear on this, but like nice jersey. I remember him. It's like you wearing it. If you ever go to Coachella, what you'd get like let's see. How about Yoervis Medina jersey?
Did anybody buy that? Like, is there one Yoervis Medina jersey out there?
You can buy one on eBay.
Oh, now I want to look up if they.
If anyone in the chat wants to find us a Yoervis Medina jersey for Lyle to wear to Coachella, that would be good. And then I need to pick an obscure one too.
No, if I was going to get an obscure jersey, we've talked about this.
Nestor Cortez, that's an antique. That's a pretty good one.
I don't even know if that exists. You'd have to customize it, I think. I don't think Nestor Cortez jerseys existed in 2020 for the 10 games he pitched in Seattle or for the Mariners.
I feel like they did exist, and there might be like 2 in circulation. It'll be like getting a signed Babe Ruth trading card.
Or yeah, because he's totally real.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Totally real. I'll tell you this: his trading cards are definitely have the opportunity to be more real than himself.
Last thing on this. No, if I was going to get a Coachella throwback Mariners jersey, we've talked about this. It'd be Carlos Piguero. That's what I'm getting.
Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah. Or Carlos Guillen too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, something about Carlos is wearing Mariners jerseys for me. Carlos Guillen was my first favorite Mariner, and Carlos Piguero is that obscure Mariner who I love because in the mid 2010s, when there wasn't much to root for, I was just rooting for once in a blue moon for Piguero to get to the plate, and when he wouldn't strike out the other 49 times, he'd just hit one to the moon. So
here's a question coming in on YouTube from Kale Ball. Who would bet win Cy Young, Kirby or The Rock? I'm going to throw this question to you because when I give betting advice, bad things happen.
Yeah, for anybody on the stream who doesn't know, we did our prediction show last year. We're doing one again. It'll get released on opening day, so it's coming up here in 10 days or so. And last year, we were going through some props, and we're looking through pitching props, and TJ has the audacity to sit there saying, Robbie Ray's splitter looks deadly in spring training. He already strikes a lot of guys out. He's durable. He throws a lot of innings. So he says on our podcast, and I'm guessing a lot of you back in late March of last year might not have been listening back then. TJ says, I want everybody listening to this podcast to take their mortgage, and put it on the over for Robbie Ray strikeouts. He lasted then 2 days later, 3 1/3 innings, and then his season was done.
Yeah, I had a very good friend of ours, maybe not take his mortgage, but he did take my advice and I haven't heard the end of it since. So,
Well,
any betting advice I give, here's a good rule of thumb that I think a lot of people close to me have learned. When I give gambling advice, just hammer the other side. Just hammer it.
so the best part about our friend that took that bet was when Robbie made his first start of the year, he was visiting us in Seattle. So he was with us when he got shelled in his first start. He's already livid at that point, saying, "Oh, he's going to have a terrible year. Thanks for the bet." We're like, "Yeah, it was one start. Don't worry about it." Because he wasn't announced injured when he came out of that start. It was just, oh, wasn't his day, got taken out. Then it gets announced he has a forearm strain. He's going on the IL. There's a very good chance at that point 200 strikeouts are not hitting because he was probably going to miss a few weeks. And then our friend was livid. And then it gets announced a few weeks later he has Tommy John. And our friend then really went off on TJ about it, like all caps, saying like, "Why would I listen to you? Why would I do this?" And yeah. So anyway, I'm dodging the question here. Kirby or Gilbert Cy Young? Well, so we just talked about this on our podcast we put out on Friday. The thing about George Kirby is he can kind of dictate who he wants to be as a pitcher. Like if he wants to strike a lot of guys out, I'm sure he can, but he may prefer to be more economical with his pitch counts and get more ground balls because George Kirby's has not been a high strikeout guy through his first couple of years in the majors, but that may be by choice. Like, I don't know for sure. I'm not going to sit here and definitively say that's true, but it almost kind of feels like the Ichiro thing where everybody said Ichiro could have hit a lot of home runs in his big league career if he had chosen to, and he could have, but he preferred to go the contact route and have a higher batting average. So, I mean, I would pick Kirby of the two just because I think I don't even know if his upside is higher than Logan Gilbert's. Probably, I mean, it probably is, but if I were to pick between the two, I would say George Kirby, although with this new pitch Logan Gilbert's now unveiling, don't count him out. TJ made a TikTok about that, saying Logan Gilbert's got a shot to sneak up in Cy Young voting this year.
I think he got a strikeout today on an elevated cutter. If my eyes were telling the right story, I'd have to go back into Savant. Well, actually, no, they probably don't have it, unfortunately. But it looked like today he got a strikeout on a high cutter. It's going to be interesting to see how it is. I mean, that's not even going to be a strikeout pitch for Logan. It's going to be a soft contact pitch because, as we highlighted, I mean, Logan's one flaw in his game is that his ball finds the barrel way too often. Even if he's getting strikeouts, he's getting hammered a little bit. So he needs something to sort of get away from that. There's like the perfect formula to winning a Cy Young. Throw a lot of innings, you induce a lot of soft contact, and you strike a lot of guys out.
Right.
So the key is which one of those three does that the best. Let's probably say Kirby, but you know, we got a whole season ahead for these three to really evolve. It's fun to have this discussion. 3 different Cy Young candidates, at least.
Yeah. It's like what Jared Carabas said to us when he was on with us a few weeks ago, when he said, yeah, it's not just you guys that thinks you have a really good rotation. And he was talking about, because everybody likes to hype up their own team and everybody thinks that they're a little bit better than they are. But he's like, oh no, from the outside, from like a national perspective, people are saying, yeah, this is a deadly rotation. This is, if not one of the best rotations in all of baseball. When you have 3 guys that are already probably going to be in the Cy Young race, and then you've got somebody like Brian Wu, who probably isn't going to have the innings to do it this year, but down the road when he starts building up more endurance, because he hasn't thrown that many professional innings, like him and Bryce Miller are another couple that you just don't know what they could do long term.
So the let's see, user that I'm not going to try and pronounce right now because my pronunciation is not my specialty, but noted that Logan today 3 cutter strikeouts and 2 broken bats against the 2-seam today. So
it's pretty good.
Count. Good reporting. Shout out to chat.
Yeah,
digging it up.
And that's your 3 starter.
Yeah.
So crazy. Somebody in here a couple minutes ago said it was along the lines of, I don't know anything about sports, but I'm just here for TJ.
Oh, hat tip to you.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Exactly. Like, look at that. You're driving our brand outside of the baseball verse. You alone, Tej.
Question here from Seahawks fan page 360. Going to some Aqua Sox games this year. Who should I be looking out for?
Who do we think's going to be there? I don't think Cole Young's going to be back in Everett with the way he's played this spring.
Yeah, but any of the 3 first-round picks from last year could be. Those are our guys right there. Farmelo, Ty Pete, Cole Emerson. I'd say Colt is the most likely to be in Everett. I'd say most likely he will probably be in Everett by the end of the year. At some point in the late summer or midsummer, he'll be up there. Not quite as certain with Johnny Farmello and Ty Pete. Johnny Farmello would probably be second on that list, and Ty Pete would be third in terms of quote unquote polish from hearing from what Jerry DePoto talked, hearing a little bit about their what their verbiage was when they drafted those guys. And based on some of the usage we've seen in spring training as well, that would sort of make sense. So it would be those three. Logan Evans.
Yeah.
Logan Evans.
So that's a name that I'm sure some people in the chat are now well aware of. If you're not, I would start paying attention. Like, I don't want to make any guarantees on here, but the way he's starting to get talked about, where, college guy, didn't have great numbers just on face value, but the stuff is crazy. He's throwing amazingly well here in spring. He had some good outings last year in Modesto. I'm seeing a lot of Brian Wu all of a sudden in this guy, like late round pick, like he was taken in what I think was the 12th round. He has crazy stuff. And I think the Mariners think they could make him into something really good. And because he's a college arm, he could move fast. So yeah, you may see Logan Evans in Everett this year. If he's in Everett, I would go watch him make a start or two or three or however many you want. And you can report back what you think. And I will say on your last thing, and I'll get back to you. The only reason I think we say like it'll go Emerson, Farmello, Ty Pete, like especially with Farmello over Ty, like Ty Pete's so much younger than Johnny. So I think they may move Ty a little bit slower than they do Farmello. And like you said, the spring training usage has kind of shown that. But man, like the way Jerry DePoto's talked about Johnny Farmello, yeah, you may see him in Everett this year.
We have a Coachella jersey submission from your friend Alex, which was great. I've missed it. James Jones would have been perfect.
Oh, that's a great one. Shout out you, Alex.
That would be a great one. Nice. What was he? 99? He was 99. Yeah, that would be great. That's perfect.
That's a perfect Coachella number.
Yeah.
Like, he was.
What was that? He was like the American League steal leader for the first half of 2014. Like, think of what you can tell. You're trying to like hit on a group of chicks and you're like, you know who my jersey is? This guy led the AL in steals for the first half of 2014. And they're looking at you like, what the hell are you talking about, dude?
It's like, it'll be like, you want the jersey? It's like, sure. $10. We forgot one very obvious one about Everett too.
Oh,
Lazar Montes.
Oh yeah. Yes. Oh man. He is going to put a hole through the center field wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be there at this point. Like barring something unforeseen, he'll be in Everett this year. You talk about like not just the power he obviously possesses and the true hit tool, but he cut his strikeouts way down last year. Like he's been playing in big league games. Like he'll go back to Modesto to start the year. We'll see how aggressive they want to be with him. But if he keeps just mashing in Modesto, he'll move up and he will be in. Like if he's in Everett this year, I encourage everybody who's in the area to get down and see Lazar Montes. I think that guy is appointment viewing, not just because of what he can do at the plate, but personality's through the roof. He's so awesome.
Another classic Coachella jersey, an ASU alum himself, Tuffy Goswitch. Yeah, baby. Now, that would be a good one.
Now, if James Jones is valued at $10, what's Tuffy valued at?
You could probably get his at like the Goodwill bins for 50 cents. If they even made it, even if they even bothered making his jersey.
There's no way anybody bought that jersey.
His family probably.
Oh, well, okay, that doesn't count. But yeah.
I think. Well, yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know. There's a lot of people out there. A lot of 2.7 million fans came through the gates last year, Lyle. I mean, any one of them could say, I need a classic.
So Divish is great about this during the year, that he always loves to take pictures of fans down below the press box wearing random jerseys and just tweet them out. So if you're out there and you really own a Tuffy Goswitch Mariners jersey, get out to a game and wear it this year, please. Like, please. And actually tag us in it when you do. If you actually own a Tuffy Goswitch Mariners jersey, like, wear it.
Peeking over here on YouTube, a couple comments. Just stoked that we have a more mature offense. Love what we're seeing from both Mitch's, Rojas, and Canzone. Really think we're about to be a better team this year. I think we need to see a larger sample size to get a great idea of what the offense is. Because spring training, it's a good hitting environment. It's a lot of good hitting parks. You're facing minor leaguers half the time. It's not a perfect outlet for judging offensive success, but just like seeing like the Yamamoto games sticks to me. Yamamoto carved the first time through the lineup. He shredded them. And you know what the Mariners did the next time through? Was it 4 runs on the board next time through the lineup? Because they went back in the dugout and they went out there with a better plan against Yamamoto the second time out. And they're doing this in a spring training game. And Divish was mentioning, and Shannon Dreher was mentioning too, like there was a lot of talk in that clubhouse, like strategy. All right, how are we going to attack this guy? What are we looking at? Boom, they got it. And it just like that, one small sample of a game, one 5-inning sample of a meaningless exhibition spring training game showed a potential maturity change in this offense. Now, April rolls around. Would like to see a little bit of that as well when they're going up and facing some really difficult arms right out of the gate. And how are they going to adjust? How is it going to work in the cold weather? Hopefully well. You know, we're going to have to see. A lot of it's going to depend on health as well. And we'll see how long it sticks. Hopefully it sticks all season. The Brant Brown effect seems to be real though right now.
Listen, you can't take spring training numbers that seriously, but can we just like read down the lineup today? Demo 845 OPS, Julio's at 1128, Polanco's at 1204, Garver's at 1106, Cal's at 1334, Mitch Haniger's at 1439, Ty France is at basically 800, Urias is over 800, Samad Taylor's at 859. Like, that's pretty sick. I know it's spring training, but I'll tell you what, that is a whole lot better than everybody putting up an OPS of 500 in spring training. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Some other Coachella submissions. Bucky Jacobson. Yeah, that would be a good one. Let's see. There's a couple other ones in here. No, might have overshot them. Here's one, Lyle. If you could bring back one player we traded this offseason, who would it be? That's a pretty easy answer. Justin Topa.
Oh, well, now I have to pick. Topa.
That's an easy answer for me.
See,
that's our guy.
It is, but there's somebody else who's my guy who's currently not having the greatest spring with the Atlanta Braves.
3 for 41 right now.
Yeah, that's not great. I'd probably pick Topa. I was genuinely like, okay, let's preface it by saying obviously they had to do it, right? Because like Jorge Polanco, we're already seeing in spring training how valuable he could be if he really goes off. But like to be in spring training and to not see him there, yeah, that like just from a personal standpoint from the two of us, that really sucked, especially like talking as much as we did with Sauce and Gabe Spire. Like, you know, those three are all really good friends. And just from like the personal standpoint with their little friend group, not that all the guys aren't friends, they are, but like from those three, it's like, oh, somebody was kind of missing and Topa wasn't there. So yeah, like I would, with this bullpen especially, I'd love to bring Topa back. That'd be great. But we also keep Polanco. How about that?
I'm down. Let's just like all the good players come to the Mariners and stay.
No
like trades. The rules don't exist.
No, Justin Topa genuinely is like one of the nicest dudes you'll meet. So not only is he a great reliever, but just as a human being, awesome. Let's see. Oh, there's one on here. TJ, this is right up your alley.
Oh boy.
Who's winning the March Madness tournament this year?
Oh goodness. Yeah, I love college basketball. I watched a lot of college basketball this weekend during a very important time of season, man. I'm outraged. The Big East only got 3 bids, Lyle. Unacceptable. I'd probably say UConn again. So they're not going to win. I love my favorite thing, though, as a stats geek. Like, we're stats geeks. I love the trapezoid of excellence. You know the trapezoid of excellence? Have you seen that?
No.
They put all the teams on like an efficiency chart. And the trapezoid of excellence are all these teams at like the top. So UConn's in there. So I'll say the Huskies.
All right. Yeah, that's a good. I mean,
as your brother's been commenting, # fade TJ. It's a good idea. But UConn's probably the favorite right now. They're probably the best team in the field. Yeah. And they're a 1 seed. So that means they're going to lose to whichever 16 seed they're playing, which I don't know which 16 seed they're playing, Lyle, because I'm a college basketball diehard and I totally have the bracket memorized right now.
I got to pick something different than you. I guess I'll say Houston because you picked UConn. I mean, Houston's like the other. I mean, Houston was the number 1 overall seed like for a lot of the year, and then I think UConn rejumped them this weekend. But yeah, I'll take Houston. Why not? I'll tell you who not to take. Don't pick Purdue. That team just crumbles every year in the
fraud watch. Hey, you saw Virginia made the field too.
Yeah.
Somehow looked like they probably shouldn't have been in, but they did.
Incredible stuff. It really is. I mean,
watching Virginia basketball is like, it's like watching what would be a good baseball comparison? Paint dry. Oh, what's a good baseball comparison?
No, the A's is not a good comparison because I don't know. Is it kind of like watching the Guardians? It's like old school baseball.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like 80, 84, 85 wins.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, that's I get that kind of murky vibe.
They do some things well, but they don't really explode on offense a lot of the time. That kind of thing. So, yeah. Oh, hey, look who's in the chat. I don't know if it's Mark or Jack or somebody else, but it's our buddies over at AWA Wiffle. And shout out to them. Obviously, they have an awesome page. They do awesome content. Go check them out if you haven't. They want to know where Blake Snell's going. And I got to tell you, boys, we've been asking the same thing for 6 months.
Like, is this man going to sign? I mean, at this point, he should just join this live right now. That's that's his best odds of getting on a team right now. He gets a spot in this room if he joins. So,
somebody want to get Blake Snell on this live stream? He can just break his news right here.
Yeah, we can give him a platform to do it. Like, where is this man going? Where is he going? I mean, first of all, it was going to be the worst case scenario. If there was one team, if there were 2 teams that Blake Snell was not allowed to go to, it would be the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros. Not allowed. Nope. I would rather just overpay and get him on the Mariners, even if it was a bad contract, just so he did not play on those teams. And it seemed like it was going to be a worst case scenario this week where he goes and signs with damn Astros. But all of a sudden, it looks like a long shot now. So the Astros aren't interested, and the Yankees aren't interested with Cole out still. Like, where is he going?
I feel like it's going to end up being the Giants in the end, just because think about all the money the Giants have offered to spend over the last 3 off seasons or so and have not spent. Like, they were willing to give Aaron Judge a ton of money. They didn't spend it. They were willing to give Ohtani a ton of money. They didn't spend it. They gave Carlos Correa $315 million, but didn't end up spending it because he had bad medicals. So look, they've spent some money this winter. They signed Matt Chapman. They signed Jung-Hoo Lee. They took on some of Robbie Ray's money, although, as we've talked about, that was basically cash neutral with the Mariners. But there's still money that team can spend, and they could use one more starter. If I had to guess, and trying to will away the idea of Blake Snell being in the AL West, I'll say the Giants. But the thing about this is it's March 17th. We're 10 days away from opening day? Like, him and Jordan Montgomery, I don't know how they're going to have good seasons when they've had no spring training to build up anything. Like,
it was the funniest tweet ever to read that this week. Blake Snell throws live 4-inning simulated game in Seattle for the Houston Astros.
Oh, that, you know what's funny about that? That was I think it was up at, if I'm remembering right, I think it was up at Shoreline Community College, because if I'm getting this right too, I think Blake Snell's dad is the head coach for Shoreline Community College. So I want to say it was up there. So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, like, he lives here in the offseason. It makes sense he was throwing here. But the fact that, yeah, like the Astros had scouts out there and the Giants had scouts out there, but yeah, no Mariners.
The question was he throwing to the Shoreline Community College team? Because
yes, I think he was.
Man. Oh, I feel bad. Wow, that must have been some tough ABs.
Yeah, like, you show up to practice today, it's like, hey guys, you're gonna get some live ABs today. It's like, all right, like, who's pitching? The reigning Cy Young winner.
Oh, good luck. 96, 98 fastball, curveball that would probably blow every single curveball. What league do they play in Shoreline? I don't know.
What are they called? Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong. I should know. Oh, the NWAC. That's what it's called.
Oh, the NWAC. Yeah, I don't think there are any curveballs like that in the NWAC.
No.
So, but I hear the NWAC, like, Blake Snell's probably got a spot in the NWAC if he needs it, because it doesn't sound like there are many spots available in Major League Baseball right now. Quick change of pace, Lyle. Gino or Sam Howell?
Gino. And to jump off that question, yeah, somebody asked, shout out Wyatt Radarme. He asked, do you guys like the Seahawks? Yes. I mean, TJ's wearing the hat right now.
No.
Yeah. It is weird. Like, there are some people out there that are just strictly baseball fans and don't really follow football in Seattle that I found, or there's some people that are Mariners fans, and even though they grew up in Seattle, are fans of other teams. But oh yeah, no, like, we love the Seahawks. If you wanted to fire off Seahawks questions, we could do that too. But Geno, like, the Geno discourse kind of drives me crazy sometimes. Like, I'm not going to say the guy was perfect last year, but a lot of what happened was not his fault. He had a bad O-line. Like, Mina Kimes has talked about this a lot. Like, didn't have time to get the ball out a lot.
The
Like,
worst defense in the NFL.
Like, Geno Smith's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why they traded for Sam Howell, but I don't think he's taking the job this year.
Yeah, I kind of hated Sam Howell, the Sam Howell deal at first, but now, like, looking back on it, they essentially only traded a 7th round pick net to get him, and they're like, okay, like, that's fine. That doesn't matter. Like, they're not gonna have a quarterback to pick at 16. All the quarterbacks should be gone by 10. All the good ones. So, and the value of trading up to get one would probably be a bit much for their sense for what other needs the roster needs.
Well, so I think 4 are going to be gone very quick. I think we know that Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy are going to be gone. Honestly, those guys could be all gone by pick 4. So then that leaves Bo Nix. It leaves Michael Penix, which honestly, like, if they make that trade, despite having Ryan Grubb, that makes me think maybe they don't think that highly of Michael Penix as an NFL QB.
They might not. I think a lot of people were scared of his medicals. Also, isn't Howell younger than both of them?
Oh, is he? I mean,
think he might be. I think he is. So, I know he's younger than Joe Milton. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have the opportunity to get that, like, the dude started 17 games last year. Okay. Like, that's something you do. Let's see. Question here from Skylar Chestnut. Boys, should have put down a futures bet on AL West champs. Yeah, go for it, dude. Money will come back.
No, you can't say that. Now you're going to be wrong, and the Mariners aren't going to win the AL West.
The money will either come back in his paycheck or in the form of a winning bet. It's a win-win.
I know, but you're jinxing them now. Like the Mariners.
Lyle, dog, you got to have some fun with it. He's got to have some fun. Well, it would be better than if, like, what would it be better for Skylar if he's sitting there at the midway point and the M's are in first place and he missed out on this great value?
No, like, I'm all for being high on the Mariners and placing some responsible wagers on it. I'm saying you were just talking about earlier in this live stream how everybody's going to fade you bets wise because you get every betting pick you make wrong. So I'm telling you can't say that. You can't say. Skylar should bet all he wants on the Mariners to win the AL West. I'm saying you can't give out betting advice like that because that's going to be wrong.
Well, let's see, Skylar. So if you get it wrong, you can blame me. It's okay. DMs are open.
Yeah,
you can scald me if you lose. Just don't. Probably stay away from the mortgage payment.
All right, maybe we'll go for another 3 or 4 minutes here as we start to get towards 8 o'clock or so. But we'll definitely answer a couple more. First off, this has been really fun, and like we said, when the season starts, I think we'll have even more to talk about on Sundays because we'll have like a whole week of Mariners baseball to kind of recap. So if people are riding high off of winning 5 of 7 in the week, you can send all the positive vibes our way in these live streams. If they have a bad week, well, let this be your kind of safe space to get out any rants you want to get out. So yeah. Somebody right here just said Seattle_easy. I'm just ready for opening day, TBH. So am I. Like, has it not felt like a total novel of an offseason with all these different chapters, like between the bad and then we get to the good and then we're getting all the spring training narratives. And then it's it feels so long ago since George Kirby threw that knuckleball in game 162. And I'm just ready to get back to games that really matter.
Yeah, I am too. And it's just the every single day aspect of us having something to talk about every single night. I miss it. I miss it a lot. And going down to spring training, you forget how much you miss it until you get down there and you see some baseball and you're like, ooh, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
You know what else is about to be back? TJ and I texting back and forth with just a lot of periods, like ellipses or whatever. That's kind of what the two of us do. Like when something goes wrong for the Mariners, like if you want a little peek behind the curtain into what some of our back and forth text messages look like if there's a big home run that's given up or somebody strikes out with the bases loaded, a lot of times somebody does it first between the two of us. We'll send 3 or 4 periods in a row and then just nothing else. And we know what it means.
Let's rip through a couple of these YouTube ones, show a little bit of love to the
Okay.
YouTube chat here before we sign off. Other than Julio, Cal, and JP, who do you think it's most important to stay healthy? Also, who can make the biggest difference this for this team with a breakout year? What do you think?
Okay, say that one more time.
Sorry. Who's most important to stay healthy besides Julio, Cal, and JP? And then who makes the biggest difference to the team by having a breakout season?
Health-wise,
yeah,
Garver, man. Like, they need that DH spot secured. Like, you don't need the two of us to tell you what the DH spot has often looked like at times over the last 5 years or so since Nelson Cruz has been gone. Like, if Mitch Garver can stay healthy and hit, that is going to pay massive dividends to this team. And then who can make the biggest impact besides those guys? Do I have that right along those lines?
Who would make the biggest impact to the team with a breakout season?
Oh, I mean, I think either Ty France or Dom Canzone, because like the thing about Dom Canzone expectations right now is like, I think he's really going to have a good year. I do, but I don't know if most like third parties, so to speak, that are, projecting win totals or what the team's outlook could be are factoring in what the team could look like if Dom Canzone has a big year. If he has a big year, this team looks totally different because right now, like you're counting on Julio to play well. You're counting on JP to play well. You're counting on Polanco and Garver and Cal to play well. If Dom Canzone's going to hit 25 bombs this year, this lineup looks way different all of a sudden. So I would say Dom.
Okay, let's see what else. If Snell goes to Houston, can we all agree to ban him from the city?
No, because here's the problem. Like the Mariners have had their chances to sign him. Like Blake, like we've never seen a free agent do what Blake Snell's done, saying like, please sign me, Seattle Mariners. Like he's given them their chance, but they haven't offered.
I think, does Spencer Packard have a chance to get in an M's uniform, or is this the next Eric Falia? That's I don't think this year, Spencer, but eventually. I thought Eric Falia was going to get a chance to be in an M's uniform. So, like, eventually, but I don't know if there's a spot for Packard this season.
So, for anybody that didn't listen to the podcast much back during the regular season, like once a week during the regular season, we do a little minor league, like down on the farm report for a couple minutes, and TJ and I will each pick somebody who, here's who stood out in the minors this week. Spencer Packard was on our list a couple different times because that dude can hit. It's the same idea of like, is there a like slotted spot for him on the roster right now? No, but if you continue to hit and you continue to force the organization's hand, at some point they'll be forced to find a spot for you. So if Packard keeps hitting, like he can do it. Yeah. Like he's got the bat to do it. He just has to keep progressing and keep hitting. So yeah. Let's see. All right, let's say last one and then we'll wrap it up. This is from Wild Boar on YouTube. Right. More valuable in 2024, Cabby or Luke Raley? Oh, I hope it's Luke Raley.
Cabby's got a way of racking up WAR. So if he gets the volume, I think Raley might have the early edge in volume. I'm not totally familiar with the Rays infield situation. I know they did sign some guys behind Caballero to supplement him a little bit. So they got a mess of a infield situation, especially up the middle. Yeah. Stinks. You sign a guy to an 11-year contract. You hope he plays all of it, but nope.
No, I guess not. But anyway, this has been really fun. I'm glad people were receptive to this. I'm glad people hopped on to hang out for a bit, whether you hopped on for 60 seconds, whether you stayed on the whole time. Like, hopefully we got to a lot of questions. If we didn't answer your question this time, well, there's incentive to come back for the next live stream too, because we want to answer as many of your guys' questions as you have, and we want to genuinely just find a way to hang out with a bunch of you guys. So we'll just about wrap up this one for now. Obviously, again, we'll be back on next Sunday, probably around the same time. So if you're around, come hang out. As always, like we tell people, if you see us at the ballpark this year, always feel free to stop and say, hey, we love to talk to people. So yeah, this was a fun first live stream, and hopefully you guys want to tune into the next one. If, again, we didn't get to your question, come prepared with some questions for the next one too. If it's not Mariners related questions, again, you can fire those away. You want to ask us about our favorite food spots or vacation destinations or whatever. Like, it can be Mariners, but it doesn't have to be Mariners. So whatever you guys are kind of thinking, shoot it our way. So there's your homework for the next live stream. But this has been really fun. Shout out to you guys. We'll talk to you in the next one.